Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome back to our recovery support group. My name is Craig. I'm one of your recovery coaches here at Capital Recovery Center. And today we're going to bring you an interesting article that I want to share with you. And let's get right into it. And so today's title of this article, first of all, this article is brought to us by newhorizonscenters.com. You can go online and retrieve this article if you wish. It is brought to us by Horizons, plural, centers.com. All right. And here we go. So today we're going to be sharing with everyone, the viewers, the multiple pathways approach to addiction recovery. The multiple pathways approach to addiction recovery. This article starts off by saying addiction recovery can be a difficult journey that requires a lot of effort and time. However, there is no one size fits all approach to addiction recovery. Different people respond differently to various treatment approaches. That's why the multiple pathways approach to addiction recovery is a popular approach that has gained popularity in recent years. Right? All right. And so let's see what our first discussion is. The first discussion we want to share is what is the multiple pathways approach to addiction recovery? I'm glad you asked. The multiple pathways approach to addiction recovery is an approach that requires that there are different paths to recovery. It acknowledges that what works for one person may not work for another. That is so true. This approach involves a comprehensive and personalized approach to addiction recovery. The multiple pathways approach to addiction recovery is based on the idea that there are many different pathways to recovery. This approach is based on the belief that individuals are unique and that their needs and preferences should be taken into account when developing a treatment plan. All right, so the article says that we are uniquely designed and we learn differently, and so what works for one may not work for someone else. The multiple pathways approach recognizes that recovery is a personal journey and that there is no one size fits all approach to addiction recovery. All right. All right, moving right along. Benefits of the multiple pathways approach to addiction recovery. Comment. I see one comment. Sharon. All right. I'm glad you're checking in, Sharon. All right, good. Okay. All right. And so it says benefits of multiple pathways approach to addiction recovery. The multiple pathways approach to addiction recovery is a revolutionary approach that is gaining popularity among individuals and personnels alike. This approach has many benefits, making it an attractive option for those seeking help with addiction recovery. One of the main benefits of the multiple pathways approach is that it allows individuals to choose a treatment plan that works for them. All right, Carolyn, how you doing today?
Good on yourself.
All right, wonderful. I'm doing great. Glad you could join us. So today, as you can see, it's rolling across the screen. We're talking about the multiple pathways approach to addiction recovery, right? And so I was just reading or sharing the benefits of the multiple pathways approach to addiction. So it says one of the main benefits of multiple pathway approach is that it allows individuals to choose a treatment plan that works for them. This approach recognizes that addiction is a deeply personal issue and that there is no one size fits all approach to recovery. By providing a range of treatment options, individuals are able to find a treatment plan that is tailored to their unique needs and preferences. Another benefit of the multiple pathways approach to addiction recovery is that it offers a comprehensive and personalized approach to addiction recovery. This approach recognizes that addiction is a complex issue that requires a multifaceted approach to treatment. With multiple pathways to recovery, individuals are able to access a range of services and support that can address the various aspects of addiction, including physical, psychological, and social factors. All right. And so for me, I went through my pathway to addiction recovery was through a therapeutic approach. It was a peer driven. And so when I say peer driven, it was basically those of my peers. I went through the therapeutic community through the Department of Corrections. So everyone there was under some type of restrictions or supervisions or restraints. Right? What was your, if you don't mind sharing, Miss Cortez, Miss Carolyn Cortez, what was your approach to addiction recovery?
To addiction recovery.
Yeah, there's several. There's a few here. I'm gonna read. I'll just read a few of them, and you may discover which one will work for you. There's 12-step program. There's the cognitive behavioral therapy, which I went through. Medication assisted treatment, where harm reduction, Suboxone, methadone, and there is a holistic approach.
Right now, I did a program for 21 days.
Yeah.
Specially stayed over there 30 days to detox, and then you guys helped me get over there.
Okay.
Um, Thanks. I give a lot of thanks to Raina. That's who stayed
Okay.
on. We stayed on each other. 100%. Um, and then from there, I signed up for an IOP program with Maryville, and I'm also on Suboxone. So
Okay.
that's how I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So sound like so in the 20 or 30-day program, I think most programs cover 12 steps. So I went through 12
Yeah, I
steps.
did the 12 steps. I did the 12. We were covering the 12 steps there.
Yeah.
Also, what was the 12 steps? Oh my God, I can't remember off the top of my head. That was one. Yeah, maybe it was covering all that on the 12 steps.
Okay.
It was 30 days I was there.
Yeah. 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 All right. So let's see here. All right. So the next one we want to talk about is different pathways to addiction recovery. There are many different pathways to addiction recovery, and the multiple pathways approach recognizes this. Some of the different pathways to addiction recovery include, all right, and so 12-step program, all right, and so 12-step program. These programs are based on the principles of Alcoholic Anonymous and involve group meetings and a spiritual approach to recovery. Cognitive behavioral therapy, better known as CBT. This approach is based on the idea that thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are interconnected. It focuses on changing negative thought patterns and behaviors. Medication assisted treatment. This approach involves the use of medication to manage withdrawal symptoms and craving. And the last one, I believe, it talks about holistic approach. These approaches focus on the whole person, including their physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. They may involve activities such as yoga, meditation, and acupuncture. And so, like the article says, there's no one size fits all. What works for me may not work for someone else. And so, what worked for you, Miss Cortez, may not work for someone else well. However, the goal is to get us back healthy and back on the right track. Let's see what the 12-step program is all about. For those who may not know 12-step recovery, the article is going to give us some insight. So it says 12-step recovery is a well-known pathway to addiction recovery that has helped millions of individuals worldwide. This approach is based on the principles of Alcoholics Anonymous, AA, and involves attending group meetings, working with a sponsor, and following a set of spiritual principles. The 12-step recovery approach recognizes that addiction is a disease that affects not only the individual, but also their family and loved ones. By attending meetings, individuals are able to connect with others who have similar experiences and share their struggles in a safe and supportive environment. One of the key components of the 12-step recovery approach is working with a sponsor. A sponsor is an individual who has been in recovery for some time and can provide guidance, support, and accountability throughout the recovery process. Sponsors are often available to talk at any time and can offer valuable insights into how to navigate difficult situations. The spiritual principles of the 12-step recovery approach involve recognizing that there is a higher power greater than oneself that can help guide individuals through their recovery journey. These principles involve honesty, acceptance, humility, surrender, and service to others. While the 12-step recovery approach may not be suitable for everyone, it has helped many individuals achieve lasting sobriety. All right? By providing a supportive community and spiritual guidance, this approach can help individuals develop new coping skills and finding meaning in their lives beyond addiction. Now, Ms. Cortez, I don't know how far did you get in these 12 steps. I know I got up to the part, oh boy, I think it was from the aspect of asking others for forgiveness. When I got there, I I stopped. I'll be honest with you because a lot of times they say, if you're not able to ask for forgiveness for something or to someone who's not reachable physically, you may try to do it through another means. And so a lot of times, if you don't have a person address or phone number, I found that very hard for me to be able to reach out and contact someone. That was one of the steps. I don't know what step that is. Are you familiar with every step or no?
No.
Okay. How far in the steps you got?
Well, we went over I did NA, AA meetings daily. The for forgiveness, I did that part.
Okay.
My forgiveness mainly was my daughter. That was
Yeah.
my concern. That was my concern. That's as far as I went.
Okay. Cool. All right. And so for me, yeah. And so when they talked about the higher power, that was something that really caught my attention. And I was saying, other people was saying they identify this as their higher power, that as their higher power. And so the only higher power that I could think of was uh, from a spiritual aspect. And that was something I grabbed hold to for me. when I was going through the steps. But the first one that really stuck out was first admitting that you have a problem.
Thank you.
I think that's the first step.
That's the first step.
And for me, they said once you acknowledge that you have a problem, then you go through the stages of uh, healing or recovery, because now you've been open and honest that I do have a problem and that drugs uh, uh, made my life unmanageable. Right. All right. And so that's enough for that part. We're going to go on the next pathway, and that is behavioral therapies. Behavioral therapy. I think that's like number 7. Okay, so we got Miss Anderson. She's in the chat on Facebook, and she says she believes that step that we was talking about, forgiveness, is step number 7. All right, thank you for that. Ms. Cortez, you're not able to see her or hear her. She's on Facebook, so she's commenting through Facebook, all right? So the next one, we want to talk about behavioral therapies. Behavioral therapy are a group of treatment approaches that focus on changing an individual behavior. This is right down my alley right here. These therapies are based on the idea that addiction is a learned behavior and can be unlearned through therapy. Here are some examples of popular behavioral therapy approaches. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is a structured, short-term therapy that focuses on identifying negative thought patterns and behaviors and replacing them with positive ones. And so what I learned through that CBT process was what we call positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement, like the article says, replacing negative thought patterns and behavior with positive ones. And so we went through a modal or module that talks about core beliefs. And so that process helped me a lot. And then we went through the process called CRP, cognitive restructuring process. And it was very interesting to learn that for myself and apply it. For instance, if a person has negative thoughts about their ability to stay sober, the therapist will work with them to challenge these thoughts and replace them with more positive and empowering ones. This type of therapy helps individuals develop the skills needed to cope with triggers and stressors that may lead to relapse. For an example, if someone has a history of using drugs or alcohol to cope with stress, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, can help them develop healthier coping mechanisms like exercise or meditation. All right? And so when I went through that process, we had to learn about our triggers, urges, and craving. Those was the 3 components that stood out to me. Besides people, places, and things, that was more noticeable or more well talked about, people, places, and things. But when they start talking about the triggers, cravings, and urges, then it allowed me to start to process identifying certain feelings that I'm having when I'm triggered or when there are certain cravings coming on and some urges. And so how do I combat that, or how I remove myself from that negative environment? All right. So cognitive contingency management, CM, contingency management involves providing incentives for positive behaviors and consequences for negative behaviors. For example, an individual in recovery may receive rewards for attending meetings or passing drug tests. Right. The idea behind this approach is to reinforce positive behaviors while discouraging negative ones by providing immediate feedback for positive behavior. individuals can learn to associate sobriety with positive outcome. Now, Ms. Cortez, there is a treatment facility in Violin, and during the COVID, they was giving out $25 debit card for those who attended meetings. Have you ever been in Maryville and Violin?
That's who I'm currently attending 3 times a week.
Huh?
I'm attending them 3 times a week.
Okay. Now, is that practice goes on over there?
Yeah.
They give out debit cards?
The gift card, the $20 gift card.
$20, right?
Yeah, every Wednesday.
Yeah. So I didn't know that was part of the contingency management process. As I'm reading this, then now I understand where that concept came from, or the process of it came from. Because it says individual recovery, an individual in recovery may receive rewards for attending meetings or passing drug tests.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. At first I really didn't understand it, but now it's called contingency management. Nice. So the article goes on to say, overall, behavioral therapy offers individuals a structured approach to changing their behavior and developing new coping skills. By addressing the underlying causes of addiction, these therapies can help individuals achieve long-term recovery. All right? And so we're talking about today the multiple pathways approach to addiction recovery. All right? So the next one we want to go over, and we're getting close to the end, and that is medication assisted treatment, known as MAT, right? It's a type of treatment that involves the use of medication to manage withdrawal symptoms and cravings. This approach can be especially helpful for individuals with severe addiction or those who have struggled with relapse in the past. Here are some examples of how MAT works. Methadone, right? Methadone is a medication that works by reducing withdrawal symptoms and cravings for opioids. It is taken daily under medical supervision and can help individuals maintain stability in their recovery. Buprenorphine, all right? Buprenorphine is a medication that works similar to methadone, but with less risk of overdose. It can be taken at home, making it more convenient for individuals in recovery. All right. Then you got naltrexone. Naltrexone is a medication that blocks the effects of opioids, reducing the risk of relapse. It can be taken daily or by injection. So is that similar to Vivitrol?
Isn't Vivitrol a shot also?
Because I know Vivitrol, you can take the shot, or you can, I guess you could take it orally. I'm not sure which one.
And that's also supposed to be help with blocking also the cravings.
Yeah, absolutely. So it says in addiction to medication, MAT typically involves counseling and behavioral therapy. This comprehensive approach addresses not only the physical aspect of addiction, but also the psychological and social factors that contribute to substance abuse. Examples of counseling and behavioral therapy include CBT, can help individuals identify negative thought patterns and behaviors and replace them with positive ones. Motivational interviewing. This type of therapy helps individuals explore their ambivalence about recovery and increase their motivation to change. All right, let me see what's going on. All right, Ms. Anderson said, what was the alternative to methadone? The alternative to methadone was buprenorphine. That was the alternative. All right, it says Buprenorphine is a medication that works similar to methadone, but with less risk of overdose. All right? And so that covers that aspect of it. Let's move right along to the holistic approach. I don't know if people, I never tried the holistic approach. I don't know who have. I don't think I ever interact with anyone who has, but let's see what the article says about holistic approaches when it comes to multiple pathways to approach addiction recovery. Holistic approaches to addiction recovery focus on the whole person, including their physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. These approaches recognize that addiction is a complex issue that affects every aspect of an individual's life. Here are some examples of holistic approaches to addiction recovery. Yoga. I tried yoga. That is a very hard exercise. I guess if you do it, you're welcome. You're welcome, Ms. Anderson. I guess if you do it often enough, you'll get better at it. So yoga is a popular holistic approach that has been shown to be effective in reducing stress and improving overall well-being. By practicing yoga regularly, individuals can improve their physical fitness while also reducing stress and anxiety. Meditation. Meditation is another popular holistic approach that can help individuals achieve a sense of inner peace and calm. This practice has been shown to reduce stress and anxiety while improving overall mental health. Acupuncture. I had that done. That is one of a great therapeutic approach as well. I enjoyed it. Art therapy is another. Nutritional counseling. And so acupuncture is involved in insertion of thin needles. Art therapy involves using creative expression as a way to explore the emotions and feelings related to addiction. All right. And nutritional counseling. A healthy diet can play an important role in supporting overall well-being and promoting recovery from addiction. Nutritional counseling can help individuals develop healthy eating habits while also addressing any underlying nutritional deficiencies. All right. And so the last part, and we'll be done, and that is combined treatment approach for addiction recovery. Choosing the right treatment plan is an essential step in achieving lasting recovery from addiction. Here are some tips on how to choose the right treatment plan you need. All right. And so it gives us a whole list of ways to do it. Say, talk to a healthcare professional, consider your goals, think about what has worked in the past. Number 4, consider different approaches. And number 5, seek support. Recovery is a challenging journey, and having support along the way can make all the difference. Considering joining a support group or working with a therapist or counselor who specialize in addiction recovery. And so this is only one aspect of recovery for us. Ms. Costel, you still with me?
Yeah.
All right. And so this is only one aspect of it where it talks about support groups. It also make mention of a therapist and also those who are counselor in the field of specialized addiction recovery. All right, and so I hope that was informative, or at least we have shared some information on the multiple pathways to approach to addiction recovery. And so they are, let's go over them again, and they are what? The 12-step program, they are 1. Cognitive behavioral process, which is CBT, medication assistance, MAT, and the holistic approach. All right. And so if you hear people expressing their approach or how they became sober, then you may hear one of those 4 perspectives. All right? And so the goal here is to help one another and not to be judgmental and to encourage each other along the way. Thank you for joining, Ms. Cortez. Thank you, Ms. Anderson. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Thank you, you too.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
All right, Ms. Anderson. Bye-bye.